Hey everyone, my name is Jordan. I am the mother of 4 children, although we did just announce that we are expecting our 5th child this summer. And thank you guys all who watched that video and showed support for our family. Thank you so much. We are so excited for this little bundle of joy. If you are new here, welcome. I normally create content that is very centered around motherhood and systems that work for me as a mother, and I share those with other mothers and other parents to hopefully help them in their parenthood journey. So if you would like to see more of that, go ahead and subscribe, and I put out a new video every Thursday. Today we are going to be talking about parenting and my parenting style specifically, and why my husband and I decided to use that parenting style. So in our house, we use what's called authoritative parenting, or more commonly known, or I guess commonly known right now, as gentle parenting. Now, I don't love the term gentle parenting, mostly because I think that it comes with a lot of negative connotations and misconceptions. And if you guys want for me to go through some of those misconceptions and kind of debunk them, I can in a later video. Just let me know in the comments. I know people who call this style of parenting respectful parenting, conscious parenting, holistic parenting, and all of those are fine and dandy. But the, I guess, scientific term for it is authoritative parenting. So that's what I'm going to call it today. So the term authoritative parenting was coined by Diana Baumrind, who was a psychologist who kind of came up with, or identified, I guess is a better word, the 4 different parenting styles. So the 4 different parenting styles, I'm going to put a little photo right here and then I'm going to go over them. But first, there is permissive parenting. Permissive parenting is low in demand and high in responsiveness. So there are very few rules, very few expectations. This is what a lot of people think of when they think of gentle parenting, but it's actually not gentle parenting. And I think that the reason that some people do think of it as that, because there are some permissive parents out there who are calling themselves gentle parents. And then you have uninvolved parents, and that's kind of where like neglectful parents and stuff fall under. And then we have authoritarian parents, and those are parents that parent like, say, my parents did, when there are high expectations but low responsiveness. So there are a lot of tight rules, lots of expectations, and there's not a lot of room for error in those expectations. If you break a rule, you get punished with timeouts, groundings, being yelled at, spanked, those kinds of things. And then we have authoritative parenting, which is where gentle parenting falls. It is high in demand, but also high in responsiveness. So there are a lot of clear boundaries and expectations, but instead of being a because I say so kind of household, it's more of a democracy kind of household. So those rules and boundaries are worked on together as a family unit. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of communication, and a lot of you need to understand your child's brain development in order to kind of go this route. And instead of punishments when rules are broken, we use things like correlated or natural consequences. Now, I was not always an authoritative parent. I honestly, when I started parenting, I parented a lot like my parents, because that's the way I knew how. Our parents are our first resource to parenting. They are our first example of what a parent should be, right? And I don't think it's uncommon for people to think that way. This is what my mom would have done if I had done that, so that's what I'm gonna do kind of thinking. But I remember this day, it was the summer of 2020. Things were already just in bad shape. And I was so frustrated with my oldest son. And at the time, he was only 5. He may have been 6 at this point. He was 6 at this point. But that's no matter. But at the time, he was only 6. And I was so frustrated with him, and I don't remember why I was frustrated, and I honestly don't remember what it was that I said, but I remember that immediately after saying it, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, you sound just like your mother. And then I sat at my kitchen table and I cried for a long time, because even though I loved my mother, I just felt this overwhelming feeling that I did not want to parent the same way she did. And now I do want to reiterate that I love my mother. I don't think that she was a bad mother. I think, honestly, in her case and my parents' case in general, I think that they did the best that they could with the knowledge and resources that they had and with the examples that they had. And in fact, in a lot of ways, my parents were cycle breakers themselves. They just didn't have the resources to take it all the way. But I knew in that moment that for sure I didn't want to parent that way. I didn't want to speak to my children that way. But I didn't really know where to go from there. So at that point, I went online and I bought the first parenting book that I had heard good things about and I had heard our pediatrician talk about. So I bought that, and it was Love and Logic by Foster W. Klein. And at this point, I still didn't know anything about different parenting styles or anything like that. I just needed a resource that would help me to parent better. And as we started reading this book and going through and applying some of the techniques and stuff that are in it into our household, my son started first grade. And if you'll remember, it was 2020. So when he had gone to kindergarten the year before, he had gone for about half the year, and then the pandemic hit and school was shut down. They then had to go and do homeschooling, which was something that did not work for me, especially the way I was parenting then. But he had been out of school for 6 months, and going back to school was a huge adjustment for him. And it was an adjustment that came with a lot of behavioral issues. And these were behavioral issues that my husband and I had no idea how to manage. We were in over our heads at this point. So we took him to our pediatrician, who then recommended that we go see a counselor, and he found us a list of counselors that we could go to. Which, of course, we took his advice, because that's why we were there, was to get his advice. So we found a counselor and we started to see her weekly. And honestly, this was one of the best things that we could not only did for our son, but one of the best things we could have done for our family in general. So we started seeing this counselor, and without telling us to try gentle parenting or try authoritative parenting, she just gave us little tools each time we would go in and talk about maybe a behavior or something that had happened. She would give us these little tools to try in our home that I later learned after doing the research were our part of authoritative parenting. But she was just giving these little tools little by little. And once we started to see these tools working in our home, not just with him, but with all of our children, then we started to seek out more information. We bought more books, and we found resources online to learn more about the type of parenting that we wanted to do, which we then learned was authoritative parenting. And if you guys want me to do a video about the parenting books that we have read and liked, let me know in the comments, because I can do that too. And if you have any parenting books that you love, comment those, because we are always looking for new resources to help us out with our parenting. But I think some of the best information that we picked up at that time was, one, learning about our kids' love languages and how we can show them love in the way that they feel it best, and learning how our children's brain development works. I honestly think that learning how your child's brain works, every single parent needs that. Every single parent needs to learn about their child's brain development because it is so, so important. But that's when things started to get better for us. That's when parenting started to be a little more enjoyable. Our kids started to respond better to our discipline and to just us in general. And things were so, so, so much better. Do we still mess up? Absolutely. We are not perfect parents by any means. We still have bouts where we yell. We still have times when we struggle with consequences and things like that. And we do still struggle as a family. But I think that overall, this parenting style is the one that works so much better in our home. And I wanted to share that with everybody because I've seen a lot online lately where people are saying things like, gentle parenting is for gentle children, which I don't know about you, but I've never even met a gentle child. But in our case, that couldn't have been further from the truth, because when we sought out new parenting styles and started to learn that authoritative parenting was what worked for us, it was with our most strong-willed, most difficult child that those techniques were working best with. So if you have a child who struggles with behavioral issues or whatever, I do encourage you to give it a shot because at least in our case, it was such a game changer. And that's pretty much it for us today. If you want to learn more about gentle parenting, go ahead and leave your questions in the comments. And if I can't answer those for you, we'll try and find you a resource that you can get. But thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Like I said, if you want to learn more about it, you want me to do more videos on it, just let me know. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more like it. I also do shorts here on YouTube as well as on TikTok. And if you want to see more of my family life / just life in general, I share that over on I share that over on Instagram and Facebook. So you can go ahead and follow me in any of those places. And yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope you all have the best day.